So just this area is actually like a little space in between the clubhouse, which is in here, which we'll go into, and the dining area. So they can that door, which we won't go through because it kind of takes you into the backside, goes right into the locker room. Yep. And then I'm not sure why, but big leaguers tend to get their hair cut more than any other segment of the population. Clearly not front office executives. But the barber shop is a piece of the fabric of the culture in the major league environment, professional sports environment. A lot of these guys have their own barbers, but we've got like nice chairs for guys to relax in. Yeah. The game can be on. There's music, and pretty much 7 days a week there'll be a barber in here, cutting hair.
Could be a good little side hustle for a minor leaguer too.
We have a minor leaguer that cuts other minor leaguers' hair.
I believe it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your lunch out of here? What do you like?
I'll show you. I make a smoothie because I do intermittent fasting. So the first meal I eat is like lunch, and I just make the same smoothie every day. This is the video room. It's become more of an office for our video technology assistants at every minor league team. The players don't watch video in here as much. Probably the one piece of the building that's not used the way I thought it would get used.
Really?
Well, players just watch video on their phones or on their,
right.
On their own iPads. So when we talk about flexibility, this was one of the console rooms. Clearly it was used today. Now it's a sleep room, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, I was wondering why.
Charlie's office, the drums, staff work area.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, the staff work area is nice, but the minor league one's nicer because these guys are here 7 weeks and they're there 365 days a year. This is a fueling station, so this is where there's a smoothie station on the other side of that. All the supplements you can see. On the other side, that's got like protein balls and fruit and yogurt and protein shakes, and they can grab it on the way out to their car, on the way in, because they enter the clubhouse over there, or when they're heading out to the field, or at the end of the day, they can grab snacks here. So we've got multiple places where they can.
This is one of those holy shit moments, a little bit, right?
Yeah,
you walk into this,
it's a pretty impressive.
It's the ceiling height is what gets you.
And the natural light.
Yeah, because I think
most locker rooms don't have.
Well, exactly, and of course, in a major league stadium, that makes sense. You're in these concourses under the stands, right. But here it's possible to have that.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've seen a clubhouse with light in it before.
Yeah, it's definitely a great feature. And the doors, the entrance is on the other side.
Did that idea come from somewhere? The natural light, the ceilings, and all that?
I think that was actually an architectural idea. We wanted the room not to have corners, so all the lockers face out to foster the team environment. But the architects came up with kind of making this space pop up higher than the rest of the building, and then adding the natural light to it.
I was going to say, you notice it from the outside of the building.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, that room is more substantial than all the others.
It's just kind of cool because I think, we've got just the thought that that's there, that this goes right out to their cars. Like, they literally park right there, and field one's right there. So, as you're entering in, this is how you're entering in. Yeah. Come on, Clay.
When you were farm director with the Guardians, what type of food options were players looking at?
Well, when I first started, before I was even farm director, they used to feed players like crackers and soup and orange slices for lunch out of the equipment cage. And then we started gradually thinking about nutrition. I remember one of the first initiatives I did as a farm director was to get every player one Cliff Bar and one Gator Load, which was like a calorie load drink. Yeah. And that was a huge budgetary issue.
Wow.
That costs expensive
right.
for every day of the season.
Right.
And that was a huge deal to do that. So that's their equipment room.
It's changed a little bit.
Yeah. So I mean,
these are professional athletes.
From that to cooking. Yeah. I mean, right. Thinking about
soup and crackers.
Yeah.
Going out and try to compete.
And then now it's gotten to the point that we actually hired a nutritionist to help us think about it. But you think about you're fueling guys, to compete. It's just one of those things. Like, why would you ever, think about, not as a potential competitive advantage, you know?
Absolutely.
So.
You can change these out.
Yeah,
obviously.
we made a
right?
trade this spring. We replaced,
Yeah.
Randall Gritchick with Matt Chapman, so Matt's in there. This quote changed from last year. Last year was a quote from Danny Jansen. This year it's a quote from Jose Berrios.
Yeah.
One team, one nation. Good for show folks back home.
Nice.
Women's locker room, which obviously is an important part of a growing area. We probably don't have enough space in there. We're filled up in there right now. I think there's 8 lockers, so 8 or 10 lockers.
A lot of baseball facilities won't have that.
A lot didn't. I mean, I was always embarrassed in Toronto that from when Nikki Huffman was here, we put a women's. She used to have to go to the hotel when we first got here. So we'll go to one of the biggest holy cow moments.
That's not what I said.
Yeah, well, I thought I didn't know what's appropriate.
So the square footage of this building is what are we talking
I
about?
think it's like 100. What do we got? I think it's over 100,000 square feet.
Okay.
We were like 38,000, over 100,000 square feet.
Yes.
It's a lot of squat racks.
Yeah. We'll go up top. I'll show you, highlight a couple things, but there's some pretty amazing differences from what we were. We have 2 sports science labs, but this one will largely just gauge recovery each day. So the catapult, that we put on players to kind of gauge their workloads. We can do the watt bike tests, grip strength, force plate tests, but we're just trying to gauge where they are and whether we can push or not.
Yeah.
You've got the video screens up with their workouts, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
But that prep space you'll see when we go up top, just those mats right there, that's the size of the weight room in the old facility.
Right. Well, and you think about the stadium where major league players used to work out, like that room compared to this, it's night and day.
Yeah. Now there's only 30 players, 25, 30 players. This is meant to be for. Got the banners with the last 2 empty on purpose for make your
nice
legacy. You got to
touch,
fill
nice
that
touch.
out. Yeah.
And not just one?
Yeah. And a cool view.
Yeah, it says it all. Yeah. So in any given morning during spring training, this is pretty active.
So this
here,
place
right?
starting at like 5 a.m. with staff, like 5 to 6:30. There's like 30 or 40 staff in here, and then from that point till noon, it's packed. And then after 4 o'clock, you might see some guys doing recovery work. Obviously we got guys now coming off the field. So yeah, it just depends.
And major and minor leaguers are rubbing shoulders.
They
in
are,
here.
which is like one of the intent, part of the intent of the building was to, we move from an environment where we were split and minor leaguers would never casually see a major leaguer to, see Danny Jansen, see Jose Berrios, the way they work. It's not a coincidence. Those guys are great players. And now they get to see the way they train, the way they throw a bullpen. There's still some separation, like you still got to earn being there, but those interactions are going to happen. This is the pitching lab. You can take a really quick peek in, but not go in there. But we've got the ability for pitchers to come up here and work with analysts and pitching coaches and work on pitch design areas and get real-time feedback from the best photography, the best technology, the best measurement tools. We can walk outside quickly, and then
let's do it.
that's it. But we've got 9,000 additional feet of workspace out here in turf, and really it naturally flows right onto the covered infield, which I don't think there's one like it anywhere. He's gonna bark at you, Cleo. Come here. I'm afraid he's going to go to the bathroom over there is what he's going to do. He's been in my office all day long. Yeah. Hey, that's exactly what he's going to do. I got to I didn't bring a bag with me.
Oh no.
Yeah, he always goes that exact spot right there every time. So, you know, the between the hill and the cover practice field, you know, and then right into the cages, and then the 2 major league fields over there, one of which is turf, which we've never had before, never had a turf field, and one of which is the exact dimensions of Rogers Center. The covered field, the hill, you don't see that many places.
And you guys built the hill.
We built the hill. It's to exact
Yeah.
specifications of, you know, for speed development.
Yeah, these are always active in the mornings as well.
Yeah.
Like George
Yeah.
Springer, Bo Bichette, they're always in it.
I mean, one of the most unique thing about these is more the height.
Yeah.
You know, we also have technology in them, but the height, you know, is a lot more than most batting cages. You know, thinking about the player journey every day, like how they move through the building, how different things are meant to be used. You know, I think that's Leo! Bad idea to bring him. Fine till we went outside.
The views on the video, Mark, are going to be through the roof with Cleo. That's going to be the screenshot. Forget you. It's going to be Cleo.
Yeah, I think he's responsible for our greatest performing TikTok.
Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah, when I asked you that question, yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
These are the minor league cages and the minor league gang mounds, so it's just kind of mirrored on each side.
Right.
We're actually one more change we're gonna make next year. We're gonna put cover over the major league gang mounds and put technology in it. You know, so like again, trying to think about every year something we can do both for shade and for the ability to house technology. We've had pitchers that have gone in and recognized they're not loading their back hip enough and just made that adjustment, or, you know, just the grip on a pitch.
Yeah.
You know, something like it. So the real-time feedback's invaluable.
Having that Edgertronic video to look at, right? How is this coming off my finger?
So there's the old building over there. If you film across the way, that awning is the size of the weight room.
And that belongs to the city now, correct?
Yeah. The Parks and Rec department. But that's it. You know, we didn't see every single space, but we saw the most of it. So.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's impressive. It's an impressive place for sure. I mean, when it finally was completed, what was that feeling for you?
I think again, like when you're thinking about something all the time, but then to see it actually executed is incredibly powerful. Definitely a point of pride, but I was more just excited at the anticipation of players kind of populating it, and then how are we going to use this? Like now that we have it, how can we think about making it a competitive advantage? So immediately turn to, okay, like let's start to think about how we program this building. How do we use some of the new things that we've never had before? What kind of programs can we create? You know, how do we look at our off season and think about the different things that we could have go on here that we could never do before? And how can we get guys to move here? You know, staff and players, so that they're here all year round. Right. You know, well, we're ultimately looking for a competitive advantage. It's not about just, you know, being able to roll out a building in a video. It's about like making sure it helps leads to wins.
How will you measure that? Just if you win more going forward?
I mean, those are tough things. I guess I just say, like, for me, it's always been about obsessively focused on controlling the controllable, and that relentless pursuit of the best-in-class resources. If you don't think that ultimately gives you an incremental advantage, it's not going to be one thing. It's just going to put you over the tipping point. But if you're doing 100 of those things, you're feeding guys the right way, you're looking for the best coaches possible, you have the technology, you've got the building and infrastructure. It's not one thing. It's a mentality that there's got to be every single thing you can control, because guess what? There's so many things you cannot control. Right. Can't control foreign exchange.
No.
Or what the Yankees do. Or what the Red Sox do.
Yeah. Right, so can't control the fact that we're in the AL East. Yeah. So what are the things you can control? So I guess I would think this is one big one. How do you measure it? You know, are we developing a few more players than other teams? Are we transitioning more effectively? Do we help guys make adjustments more quickly? You know, but it's not one thing to measure.